All right, welcome back to Miami, Florida. Chris Chavez alongside Anderson Emerald, Aisha Pratt-Lear, and Eric Jenkins as we unpack day 2 of Grand Slam Track Miami, where we had our first 100K checks handed out to some slam champions. And the coolest part, I think, about the whole entire thing is that the points totals for all of these groups were pretty different across the board, and so we'll unpack all of that, how people got into those winning positions. But Eric, we'll start with you, kind of an overarching takeaway from day 2.
Oh, I mean, we were talking about how Miami seems to have built upon Kingston really well, and today was even better than yesterday. I felt like as soon as you got in, energy was high, stands were full. And the races were great. Again, another really good day of racing. All the races were fun. A bit like, like the points totals were like all across the board, and it was very, very fun to watch.
Aisha?
My favorite part was scrambling, like the urgency to know the points totals. I think with everybody understanding the concept now, it's really exciting to watch a race finish and then everybody's going to the math of who is the winner of the 100K. It's really fun.
We're lucky that the computers and the scoreboard do it for us like very quickly, because like I was up at that desk just kind of like chicken scratching like some math, and I was like, this is what like, well, I guess like we've had worse feelings on election nights recently, but like election night results and all that kind of stuff, like you're waiting for them to all come in. Like
3 seconds in, Chris is like, let's talk politics.
Here we go. I'm gonna get called woke again.
No, Chris is like, look, I've talked track all day. I'm done.
I'm tired of this. But anyway, yeah, it's just like that, where you're waiting for the vote tallies to all populate, and you know it's thrilling because it takes a little bit of a moment, but then the celebration afterwards is really what makes that moment. Anderson, what about you?
Yeah, it's the point totals. I think there were so many competitions and races today that like proved where all these athletes who might have won the day before finished down in the pack, and everyone's standing, by the screen or at the track trying to figure out like where they're going to place, who's they're going to finish where. So that I think was the most exciting part for me, at least.
So it's also setting up very nicely because like we had some finals today, but then tomorrow the joy comes in the fact that it's all finals. Eight races, and so $800,000 being awarded to the champions. So a lot of big money on the line. So let's start talking about some of these races. It started off today with Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone kind of doing what we all expected her to do, and that was to win. She actually won this race by a bigger margin than she did in Kingston, Jamaica, when it came to the hurdles. And again, to the point of just, this is the earliest we've seen Sydney hurdle so far, and she's, I think, kind of, with this race, probably just working on her step pattern, comes away with a 52.07, which is a world lead, right?
World lead. I mean, she had the world lead before from Kingston, so yeah, she just dropped that down. And she said afterwards that she hit the marks that she wanted to hit and what she was working on. She probably could have gone under 52 if it wasn't maybe as windy, but she clearly was the class of the field. I'm interested to see how this goes over into the 400, where now she's just gonna have the open race. Hopefully, it's not as windy. We could see something fast, but just Sydney being the dominant Sydney. I think that's the story.
What are the odds then that you see we could see a statement victory by running faster? She runs faster in her open 4 than we saw in Paulino versus Nasser. It could happen.
That's what I think would happen, because I feel like Sydney is very quiet and reserved. She doesn't talk as much, but I feel like she's going to talk on the track and show, because we know she's going to go to LA and run in that long sprints group. I think she wants to put something down like, hey, yeah, you had fun over there. Let me show you what it's all about before I actually step into the realm.
Yeah, or at least like what's coming down pretty soon, because I guess today was the last time that potentially, I guess, we'll see her hurdle in a Grand Slam track with the 400 hurdles, because she'll drop down to the short hurdles in the next group. But again, like this was just, signature Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, a dominant victory. Major kudos to Andronette Knight, who finished second from Jamaica. 54.08 and went for it.
She went for it. She was like really pushing for it. She also did well in Kingston, and I'm sure that she kind of saw an opening where, all right, You didn't have Dalilah Muhammad here. We know that Sydney's going to be really out front. Let me kind of assert myself amongst the rest of this field. I really did like her. And then Anna Hall in third this was big. This was big. Shout out to Paul, right? Like this was big because she's the only one in the field who's not a 400-meter hurdler. She hadn't done it in like 2 years at this point.
She doesn't train for this event
at all. Like literally, she doesn't train for it. So for her to come here and she was on the inside lane, I think.
Yeah,
lane one, right?
Yeah.
So to be able to do that, like that just showed like she's a multi-athlete.
She was .01 off of her personal best.
She's crazy.
This time last year, like she was recovering from the knee injury, and like what she told me beforehand, and we put the interview out on Instagram and on YouTube, was that this is all about trying to have fun again, because last year there's so much pressure. After 2023, when you earn a medal at the World Championships and you sign all these sponsorship contracts, like there's just so much pressure to get to the Olympics. Yeah. And when you have that injury, it's a little extra weight because you're like, I don't know. It's not as much of a guarantee as it was. Then there's heartbreak at the Olympics when you come so close to a medal. Then after that, you have to come down from all of that, get back to training. And so maybe what she said was track was not fun. And now, coming to do this is the event that she probably would do if she wasn't doing
everything,
7 other events. Clearly, I thought it looked like she was having fun out there.
Yeah.
And she made a whole weekend out of it, too. I think she did like a hot lap with the F1 drivers.
With the F1s, yeah. So like she took advantage of it. She took advantage.
This is a good step forward for Anna Hall, I think, this weekend.
And
so
we'll be watching the points. She got 3rd place here. She may even be better in the 4. I don't know. Like, she's really good there. So we'll be watching to see if she's able to maybe get 2nd place overall.
Eric and I got to break down the race with her, which was
really
fun.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was great. And something that she said to us was she wasn't sure what it's going to look like after hurdle 5. And thinking that, I just got to get there and we'll see how it went. But she was watching the race back, and it was great to see the delight and surprise that she was really proud of herself for how she executed the race.
Yeah, I think this, like we were just saying, she's going in. This isn't her event. Like, you really have nothing to lose by coming here and just laying it all out there. Like, you're only up from here. And you could feel like she just seemed so excited, like sitting down, talking with us afterwards. It was really fun to watch.
How did breakdowns go on day 2?
How do you, you take it?
Okay, well, so apparently I did cut Eric out of the frame for most of the race.
She completely iced me out, Chris.
Yeah. No, it's no. Maybe 1/3 of Eric's faces, and we're learning camera angles.
We had good ones. We had some ones where I'm just completely out of frame. But overall, I think they went well. We got Marco, we got Anna, we got Trey Cunningham, we got one more person. And
we got Nikki. We did really well. We were a good team.
We did well.
Some of us just didn't do the greatest job to include the other. I felt like you were really strong yesterday, and I wanted to be as strong as you.
Yeah.
So I was just asserting myself, and I just cut you completely out.
No, it's okay. I wasn't mad.
Okay.
I think you did a great job today.
You guys are going to talk us out on the morning show.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll hash it out tomorrow. I'm just holding so much back. I think it was a good day in the creator zone.
A reminder to people, you can catch Eric and Aisha in their brand new show, the Good Morning Track and Field, tomorrow on YouTube. We record that. There's no hard time. It's like, I
think what time we start today? Like 10:30?
But we posted around like 11:30, noon or something like that.
Well, we talked for a while.
Yeah.
10:30.
That's AM. That's morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's like we can't tell people like, hey, tune in at noon because we don't know if it's up yet.
It's us. We're just rolling with it.
Yeah.
It's flowing.
We gotta get a few. We gotta eat breakfast. We gotta work out. We still have to do a full morning routine.
And it starts earlier tomorrow too.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
All right, reminder.
Okay, we gotta go to bed.
Yeah. We need to eat something.
We need to eat and go to bed.
Reminder to people, you can watch all the action tomorrow on the CW and also on Peacock from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let's get back to dissecting some of these races. So we had the
women's 100, but of the short hurdles group.
That was I think next up was the long sprints.
Oh, you're
men's
right.
400, which We had a shocker here with Ja'Cory Patterson, but like you're saying, not as much of a shocker given
Not
the
as
momentum.
much. Yeah, he was coming off a personal best a couple weeks back. He was, I think, number 2 in the world. So this was not too much of a shocker, but he was, not in the greatest positions in terms of lanes and all that. Well, he was on lane 8, but he's kind of outside of the mix. But he ran 43.98 seconds. The first athlete this year to go under 44 seconds against tough competition. Tough competition. This was a good race for Ja'Cory. This is really good.
And then, of course, he melted hearts if you watch on the TV broadcast because he, spoke about like, hey, like I work a job for UPS. I have to train so early in the morning. So from what you gathered in the mix zone, can you share a little bit more to the Ja'Cory Patterson story?
Yeah, he literally was talking about, and shout out to Paul. Paul was kind of getting the breakdown, but he literally was talking about how he, has to train super early, then get some rest, get some food, then prepare to actually go to work, and packing boxes, UPS, like he's working a regular job, and it's not easy. It's not easy.
And that kind of goes to show you just like how important some of the slam is for some of these athletes, where like the payday is probably more than like you probably get in some of these offers from some of the major sportswear companies or like these brands who are just like willing to throw you gear, or because you're in a loaded event. The men's 400 in the United States, we have an embarrassment of riches. So
It's
like,
crazy.
how do you stand out? You have to run those fast times. Ja'Cory Patterson just did that, and I think like you said in the mix zone, Jareem Richards passes by and says, hey, someone get this guy a contract.
Get this guy a contract, right? Jareem Richards, the guy who wins the overall slam, he's walking through and, he's telling Ja'Cory, like, yo, get this man a contract. He deserves it. He just beat out, a ton of guys who were in the Olympic final in the 400 last year. So he very much deserves to be in the conversation for one of these contracts coming up. But yeah. And
it seems like today Ja'Cory Patterson won the battle, but the war overall was won by Jareem Richards, who turns out a 44.32 performance to finish second. Great showing.
This was big for Jareem, coming off the 200 that he had yesterday, where he ran 19.8. Now to run 44.3, which he said was like his fastest season opener. Like he explicitly spoke about how clearly he was sick in Kingston. He just was not healthy, but he said no excuses, and I proved why there's no excuses. I'm more than capable of being one of the best here. So Jareem really showed up, and I feel like Jareem now goes into like Philly and LA with a lot of momentum because he's proven that he is more than capable and arguably the best guy in this field in the 2 and the 4. So he might have the target on his back going forward, assuming he's in good shape.
Is this a little bit of a confidence hit for the likes of like Matthew Hudson-Smith, where like he wants this thing so bad, and then like today and yesterday, not the best showing?
Yeah, well, so Matthew, I'd spoken to him in the hotel early, and he said he had like a hamstring issue before, so he didn't do as well in the 2, but he actually did well in the 4 here, running 44.3 as well. He kind of like jumped things back, and he walked through the mix zone. He's like, how's that for a broken hamstring or something like that? He's like, I still got it. Like, I can really be in it. So he wants some revenge back from missing that 100K today, getting it last time. He probably is going to go into Philly like, this is mine. This is supposed to be mine.
All right, so thoughts and prayers next off to Stephen Gardner, the Tokyo Olympic champion who makes it just over 200 meters. And, like, he just did not look good right from the gun. Like, went out a little bit slow and then, drops out and was on the track for a bit.
Yeah.
Like, it's so unfortunate because he's dealt with so many injuries in the last couple of years. And watching him during warm-ups, like, he looked like he'd be a legitimate contender to win this whole thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Coming in, we had spoken about him because he was also kind of a double threat. He didn't look as great in the 200, but he looked good enough. And yeah, like you said, warm-ups, he looked pretty good. And yeah, it's tough because Steven has been dealing with injuries literally since 2022. Like his last time getting a medal was 2021 at the Olympic Games. He comes in as a racer, semi last minute over the last week or so. And to see him kind of go down, that's really, really tough. But yesterday he did tell me he was dealing with a head cold. This obviously is probably a little bit more than that, but hopefully he's able to jumpstart things back for Philly.
If we zoom out and take a step back and look at just the greater 400-meter picture globally, right? Like there was a 400 in China earlier today that Chris Bailey won. Quincy Hall finishes last in that race. Yeah. Chris Robinson's the world leader.
Yeah.
And then just like all of these athletes are running somewhat fast. Yes, it's still early, but it does feel like this event is totally wide open this year.
Yeah, the thing is, I think a lot of these guys, because you're talking about Ja'Cory Patterson, Chris Robinson, like some of these guys, they don't have contracts. I feel like they're trying to prove themselves, and they're forcing a lot of these guys like a Quincy Hall or whoever else from the United States, they're forcing them to say, hey, you have to step up to us. You have to prove that you can beat us or else we're going to take your spot. Because it's stacked. The 400 is very, very stacked right now.
Who's this bad news for? I mean, I in my head, I'm sort of thinking, man, like, as we all are just huge Quincy Wilson fans, like, it just got tougher for that kid to even make the relay pool
Exactly, right?
1 year later.
Right? That's the thing. You have Quincy Wilson, who was the star of, one of the stars of last year. Who knows if he's going to make
He's
the
in the
relay.
back half of, I think, our top 10 right now.
Exactly,
honestly.
yeah. And this is not even to mention guys like Vernon Norwood or Michael Norman if he gets healthy again, right? The pool is so deep for the men's 400 that I don't even know what's going to happen when we get to USA's later on this year.
And the thing is, USA's does feel far away, but it'll be here before
Quicker than we think.
know it.
3 months.
Really? 3 months from like today? Or no, something like that. It's 3 months away. Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
Close.
That is close. That is close.
It's coming up.
Next up was the short hurdles
Yes,
women's
this
100,
is
where
women's 100.
Ackera Nugent goes 11:09 and keeps the women's short hurdles title in Jamaica's hands.
Yeah.
After following up what Danielle Williams did in Kingston, it's Ackera Nugent here today. And like part of it is like not totally surprising because she had the
Yeah.
fastest PR on paper and then matches it today.
Matches her PR, yeah. And this race was not close. Like, she really just like killed the field. Not killed the field, but like she dominated the field. I don't know how appropriate that is, but
Hey, listen, I threw out an election joke earlier, and I think I'm going to get killed first.
But yeah, she ran 11:09, and then Jamaica go 1-2 with Megan Tapper running 11:3. So this was a really good race for Ackera Nugent. Interesting, in Kingston, I spoke with her, and she said that her transition out of the NCAA is not going as well. She feels like she's not as happy with the sport and like the transition being professional. But she said races like this, Grand Slam in general, gives her a lot of motivation and kind of like gets her excited. And she loves the 100. She feels like the 100 is her kind of her baby. So this was a good race for her and a good overall win.
Also, just like all the people that she surrounds herself with in training, like I feel like that just
crazy.
like lifts everyone up, and I think like a performance like this is going to uplift her training partners who are also here competing the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And this was another one where the points were kind of interesting because Ackera Nugent didn't finish very well. Well, she finished third place in the 100 hurdles, and then she got the win here. All eyes were kind of like on Masai Russell, on Tia Jones to see where they would place because Masai got the American record, won that.
Masai was so close.
She was so close. So this was an interesting dynamic of the points coming into play on how is this going to play out? What is the finishing order going to be?
Yeah, Masai Russell fourth, and a very encouraging finish, I think, for her overall. And just props to Tia Jones for running 11:50, which means that she now finally has run faster than she did over hurdles. So this was a good one. I mean, there was a smaller field today, six athletes.
A couple women had pulled out, Alicia Johnson, Serena Samamayela, but I think also just with Masai, I think this is a big motivator for her, right? Coming off the American record yesterday and the win, did pretty well in the 100 meters here. I think for the season, of course, the next couple slams, this is a big motivator for her as she goes forward for the season.
Next up, we had the short distance women's 1500, which was a fascinating race from the gun because it felt like over the last couple of days, it's been the men who have been like, you know what, we're going to make it tactical. No one wants to take it. And for a couple laps, the athletes in this one were just like, you know what, us too.
We never see this.
No.
We really don't. I mean, occasionally a round at a championship goes slow on an international level, but not often.
Not in the last couple of years.
Do we see this? And really starting, I don't know, in about 2017, the rounds at these international competitions have gotten faster and faster and faster to make a final at an Olympic Games or a World Championship. You're running sub 4.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people are running 3:57 and not making the final. So to see this was a real treat. It was very, very fun. I think their first lap was 75.
Why did you think it started off so slow? Like, who do you think that everyone was looking to try and make it hot?
I think everyone would look at Teji or Hailu to make it hot.
Because that's what they did, I think, like at the World Indoor Championships.
Of course, yeah. It seems that the Ethiopian standard is to just make every race honest. So I don't know what was part of the calculus today, but it was very fun to watch.
I think part of it, the calculus, is the fact that, from what I've kind of heard, it was like the Ethiopian Athletics Federation, they know that we don't like how they mess with the races. Like, we've been very vocal against them, like, at the Paris Olympics when we've done these shows before. Grand Slam is something totally new and different, and I think that internally at the Ethiopian Athletics Federation, they're just like, all right, we don't know how we're going to be able to play with these races. So it's really up to the athletes. And so if you're Fruweni Hailu or you're Dariba Witelji, you're just like, you know what? I don't get the chance to do this all that often. I'm just going to lay back. And yeah, it was 74 for the first lap. And I was like, okay, like, no one's taking it.
It was fun. Like, there's a lot of pushing and shoving. You don't see that much.
No.
Lot of jostling. People were, at some point, Emily Mackay comes through. She barrels right over
Which
everybody.
is what she did in Glasgow like 2 years ago as well.
I love it.
Yeah,
She's
me
like,
too.
"Look, I'm
Make
not
way."
I'm not moving. I'm not swinging wide. I'm just coming straight down the pipe. Get
Out of my
the
way.
Yeah. But no, it was like super fun to watch. I mean, it still, what was it, 406?
Yeah, 406, 404, whatever it was. Something like
406.
But it's still really fun to watch. And I think it's closing 58. Super fast. Nikki has such a good close, such a strong kick every single time. Won the 800 the last slam. So I'm sure they're feeling really good going in to tomorrow.
Yeah.
We broke the race down with Nikki, and they said really openly, oh, I made a tactical error by not kicking from the front, which I think is fascinating that an athlete can watch the race back immediately and just say, oh, that was it. Like, that was the move that lost me the race.
Yeah.
And you saw it happen really with 300 meters to go. There was a lot of jostling, and Nikki and Dariba Witelji kind of got tied up. And at one point, I thought Dariba was going to go down.
I thought so too on that backstretch over there, yeah.
Well, Nikki was boxed last lap, like 300 to go, slightly boxed in, and they're moving, right? So it is... You can be on the rail, but sometimes it opens up. Sometimes you don't have that gap. And so Nikki did say, I asked if you could run that race back. What are you changing up? And they said I'd just be at the front with 400 to go.
And Hailu ran just a perfectly executed last lap, where we saw yesterday in the 1500 where Marco Arop made a really aggressive move to the front, but Hailu just floated in, found the rail, and accelerated with just the right amount of spreading the peanut butter to make sure that she ended up first. And it was a beautiful tactical piece of art.
I'm like a spreading the peanut butter reference. I'm like, here we go. I'm like, I haven't heard that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've never heard.
She's hungry.
Yeah,
We're
all hungry.
No,
I'm
I feel like
starving.
I don't know. My high school coach always used to say that. I've like heard it.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
Have you heard that?
If you're making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you don't want to slap a big piece of it in the middle and then you go to take that bite and it's disgusting. You want to spread it evenly. So you want to spread your effort throughout your last lap.
How do you like your peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
That's a great question. I like it heavy on the peanut butter, heavy on the jelly.
Just sloppy.
Chris, I didn't say sloppy. Okay, don't put words in my mouth when it comes to peanut butter and jelly sandwich making. But I actually, if I get, so I'm gonna get a nice white bread. I'm actually gonna put a layer of butter down before I put the peanut butter. I'm gonna go double butter. Okay, who are we kidding? Okay, in a perfect world. I'm going butter, then peanut butter.
You don't look like this without the butter
and then
first.
you're going double butter. And I'm going to go smooth peanut butter. And I'm not going organic. You want like...
Why did you look at me?
I'm like organic. Where it's just oil. Like it's where you're mixing it for maybe 15 minutes. Still don't quite mix it. No, I'm going like Jiffy. Like you want the store brand. You want the hydrogenated seed oils coursing through you after you've already put down a layer of butter. And now I would say you want that smooth, like your high school coach would say. You want to just lay that down. And I'm getting carried away. But
now I'm hearing that you like my reference.
I do. No, I liked it from the start. I just had never. I just was kind of surprised to hear it. So I liked it. I wasn't coming at your reference.
Okay, great. Thank you.
To your point about Fruweni Hailu running the race that way, I did go back kind of like in preparation, to go on the broadcast. I went and watched back the last two World Indoor Championship races just to see just like how they unfolded so differently. And that is just like Fruini Hailu just waits for someone to try and take it out with 200, 400 to go, and then just pounces at some point. And today, the move came on the final lap, and I think she's so good, and will probably get maybe overlooked a little bit in the 800 because you don't think of Fruini Hailu as like an 800-meter runner. She's got a 158 PB, I think.
We were on the World Athletics website looking for her 800 PB, and we couldn't find it.
I think she told me, because I did speak to her through superstar interpreter Hannah Bornstein at the hotel like 2 days ago. It's been 4 years. Like, it's been a while since she's run one, because now she's so focused on trying to make the move up to the 5K. And so this is all just kind of, speed work in a sense. And the cool part is that her and Dariba Witelji have gone head-to-head. Yes, a lot of time. I think it's like 9-3 over the 15, and she's 0-3 against Witelji in the 800. But they've been, they're close acquaintances. They sat next to me at breakfast the other day. They didn't have any peanut butter. But the two of them, they just know each other really well. So Ethiopian tactics could actually be on display come the 800. One person who, I don't know how they'll respond from this is Mary Mora, who is the reigning world champion at the 800 meters. And made a move, probably because it's instinctual at that point, to look at the lap count and see 2 laps to go. And she's like, this is my kind of race. But died hard in that final lap.
Right to the front, right? Like with 2 laps
right
to go, she really made a very aggressive move to get to the front for the bell lap.
This is her debut at 1,500 meters, if you believe it or not. And it's kind of crazy to think about because she's dealt with dehydration, scratch from Kingston, but it wasn't great. I'll say that. She finished last.
4:24.
Yeah. So
Tough day.
Tough day at the office for Mary Mora. She's going to be looking for a little less of pain in the 800.
So. I mean, like Mac just said, she'll be fresh for tomorrow.
Yeah, basically.
Probably not, but wait. I mean, she's had a rough go at the slams. But yeah, I mean, with how talented she is in the 800, even though she has had a rough go of it these last couple races, I mean, it wouldn't surprise anyone for her to be right up there.
With the way Kingston went, it's not out of the question. Like, the pieces have to fall into play for Jess Hull to try and win the whole entire slam. Like,
Jess Hull, I thought she had a pretty good race today. Like, she was the last lap there. Didn't have quite the gears to close with Nikki.
The leader's closing 2:01 for the final 800.
Yeah, okay, so I mean, that's really impressive running.
That's world-class running.
Very,
obviously.
really good running. I thought Jess looked good. She's not quite at the form she was last year when she's running 350 and setting world records, I think, in the 2K. But I thought it was a good step forward.
But Jess comes at these events from the top down. She's a
For sure.
really strong athlete. If you're the world record holder in the 2K, we haven't seen a lot of athletes attach and attack onto the back of Faith Kipyegon. That's a different type of running than super tactical, sharp races with a lot of gear changes. And she was there. She was there with 80 to go. It's just that last 50, that last screw to turn. And if you're more of a 3K, 5K runner than an 8:15 runner, that's a little adjustment that's going to be difficult to match.
And we're forgetting the fact, I guess, on that note too, just that Jess is coming off of, I think, the 15 and the 5K titles at the Australian National Championships, which were contested between Kingston and here. So she's traveling the whole entire world.
A lot of traveling.
And maybe not as sharp in that race. And to that point too, I mean, Emily Mackay closed in 2:05 for the final 800, and that's a good sign for her because I'm guessing. My coach hasn't told me how his other athletes are training, but Coogan hasn't told me that she's been doing super specific speed work yet because she's coming from the strength side from the indoor season. So it might still even be early in Emily Mackay's training block that this is again another stepping stone come championship season, and your body will recover from this a lot easier than if you would have done the long distance group. So the 800 is gonna be good.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays for the rest of these athletes. I would love to see a progression through the season. And when we get to the championship, are the athletes that raced at Grand Slam better suited to championship racing? They've gotten more reps. than they normally would. The early Diamond Leagues are often paced very fast. People run their really fast times early, but the athletes here are getting in those tactical reps that maybe they don't get a chance to in the regular season.
All right, there you go. Clip that part and say like Aisha Prattler takes a shot at the Diamond League. It's a one and done event, and then like you're not practicing running the rounds. No, but even like the sprinters are talking about it too. It's like this is getting you ready for like the back-to-back that you do at your nationals or at the world championships as well. So it's a great point to bring up. All right, next up we've got the
men's 110s.
The men's short hurdles.
Yeah.
Which like Olin Bradford Cunningham III.
Olin Bradford came out and showed he showed he was real Olin. That's what he was. That's what it was.
He's the third of his name and the first across the finish line here today.
Nice, Chris.
There we go. Ties his personal best, 13 flat.
13 flat, and he was commanding this race. I mean, Sasha was close with 13:06, but Trey Cunningham, the momentum is on fire. He beat Grant Holloway a couple weeks ago, the world champion, the Olympic champion. But now he improves his personal best, beats out the entire Grand Slam field as a challenger. Trey Cunningham is in excellent form. And after the race, so, they got the 100 tomorrow. After the race, he was asked, like, what are you expecting for tomorrow? He's like, I got the fastest personal best. Like, I'm going in. I'm confident. Like, into a headwind, I could do anything. So
yeah.
he feels confident about what he did today and what he's going to do tomorrow.
That's right. I mean, the Trey's personal best was set last year, so it's fairly recent compared to a lot of these guys. And also, like to your point, it was at like the Adidas.
Adidas, yeah, me. It was
it on that like janky track?
Yeah, it's a little janky. So maybe it's not official.
But I mean, honestly, I think janky track means you can go faster on a real track.
Very true.
And then also into the headwind.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm expecting big things from Trey.
Yeah, it was good from Trey. And I think even behind him, you had Sasha Zoya, you had Freddie Crittenden, and then you also had Jamal Britt. They were 13:06, 13:09, 13:10. It was kind of like really close between all three of them. I think this sets up for tomorrow where Sasha, he's the defending Grand Slam champion from Kingston. He's in a good position to potentially get the 100 win, challenge Trey. But then, someone like Freddie might be looking for some redemption. He didn't do good in Kingston. So there's some good storylines going into tomorrow in the 100.
I think the league is so fortunate to have signed a personality like Sasha Zoya because he's all in on this model. Like as soon as Trey beat him today, he was just like, I'll see you tomorrow. And he's telling the fans, remember, we got the 100 the 100 tomorrow, and you better tune in and watch because I'm going to try and get it back. And he's reminding people how it went last time. Like I finished second and then I won. So like I said this to, on TV that like all love and respect to Grant Holloway, right? Like because he is like the best right now. Mm-hmm. But, he's had a little bit of a hiccup. And he put something up, I think it was on Instagram. It's like Michael Jordan missed a couple free throws. And it's like, that's true. But also, let's play up the storyline. Like, if there's an opportunity for someone to step up in the 110 hurdles, now's the time. And you've got a slew of guys, whether it's Trey, whether it's Dylan Beard, whether it's Sasha Zoya.
Yeah.
Cordell
Tinch just ran 12:87 in the Diamond League.
Fourth fastest all time.
All time. It's very, very competitive right now. And I think this is an event where, no one can get caught slipping. Where if you hit a hurdle, if you miss a step, like anything can happen, and you can lose the race, you can lose a title or whatever it may be. So this is very competitive. And Sasha Zoya, he was kind of talking like you said, he's very confident. This was a personal best for him. I think at the last slam, he's like he wants to get the world record at some point. Like he has confidence for just like everything that he wants to do.
I think about the fact we had an Olympic podium sweep in this event, and like the cast might entirely change. Like Freddie and Daniel Roberts are like they're trying to get it right now, and like these are just some early season reps, and like I'll be so curious to see what form they take on last year. But Trey, someone who was on the World Championship podium, 2022, and has struggled with injuries, he's finding his form. And Dylan Beard said it in the press conference, like no one wants to be the one to lose to the guy who works for Walmart. So like there's just so much.
So
Dang.
Yeah, it's a cold line.
That's cold-blooded.
Yeah, he's like no one wants to lose to the guy from Walmart. So, I mean, this event is electric. I think if we go back, almost a year ago to when everything was announced, people were like, I don't want to see these guys run the 100. Honestly, like it's one of the most fun events.
Yeah, this is exciting. This is good. And yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be good.
Do you have a prediction? Who is it going to be, Trey or Sasha?
I think it's going to be close, but I think Trey is going to take it. Yeah, I think Trey, but it'll be close.
Trey came through with us full head of steam.
Yeah.
Trey's very confident. Sasha's confident. Trey's on the moon. We saw Sasha say, "See me tomorrow," and Trey said, "He'll be seeing me from the back." So. Yeah, he's
I
ready.
love it. That's the confidence.
Yeah,
Trey's a model. I don't know if you knew that. And so, like, that's the confidence that he probably brings to like these photo shoots, the runway, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, in the content creator zone.
Hello.
It was us on one couch. Trey's talking shit, and then Sasha was one couch over. They're all just yapping. No, it was really funny. They're both like super confident, great personalities. It was. I mean, this event at the Slam in great hands.
Here's what I want: if Trey wins, and if it fits into his schedule, right? Like, I hope he gets invited back for Philly, right? Like, you defend the Slam title, you go up against Sasha, who won in Kingston. Now you got two guys who have traded Slam titles, and then you do a press conference in Philly where it's just the two of them, and I feel like that would just be electric. The two going back and forth and back and forth.
I mean, if you're like
UFC style.
if you're a challenger and you win a Slam, it should be an automatic invite to the next one.
Yeah, and it's up to you if you want.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems. I mean, it's like you've earned an invite
earned
to the
your
next
spot.
Slam.
Did you
Take
hear
this
that,
up with
Kyle?
Yeah. All right. Next event that we had on the track was the men's
100.
short sprints,
Short sprints.
100, where if there we told people, if you want to try and win this Slam category, you have to beat Kenny Bednarik.
Yeah.
No one did it here today. Also, he ran 9.79, just slightly wind dated,
Slightly
2.4 wind.
This was the same thing that happened in the women's 100 where they had 2.4 wind. Melissa Jefferson ran 10.7. It was like the exact same thing. But Kenny B, like, it's so hard to bet against Kenny B at this point. Like, Oblique Seville gave him a challenge, Akeem Blake gave him a challenge, but Kenny B is just, he's that guy right now. He is that guy. And he, similar to like we were talking about with Trey and Sasha, he has that confidence. He said in the mix zone, it's like, yo, if you don't get out with me, if I'm with you like 30, 40 meters in the race, why are you wasting your time? Like, it's over at that point because he knows that he has that strength in the second half.
This one was dominant. For
was.
Kenny.
It was.
That's what he's looking for because like he's I think publicly said he's like I'm having trouble getting into these Diamond League meets in the 100 even though he was on the U.S. Olympic team.
Olympic team, he was in the final. He was which was one of the fastest finals in history. Like,
and he's having trouble,
which
It's
is crazy.
ridiculous.
That makes
It's
no
crazy.
sense.
And something like this, I think, goes to prove like no, the man is fully worthy. I guess like you saved yourself kind of not having to travel all the way to China. You come here and you throw down like a pretty good performance like that. But then behind that. Oblique Seville, 984. He was pretty happy with that because if you do just kind of like the conversion as to what this would have been with like legal win, I turned to Sonia and I was like, what would that have been? She goes, probably for Kenny like 9.8. Like it's literally that little 9.81 at the worst, and so everyone should be very encouraged by these results.
Yeah, they ran way better than they did in Kingston. Like they executed better, the performances were overall better, and the confidence is so much better. I mean. It's just so like tomorrow Kenny's gonna dominate the 200, right? If he's coming off a 9.7, even if it was windy, like now in the 2, and he actually said in the long sprints they ran 19.8. So he's like, I can't let the long sprinters beat me. So I'm expecting something pretty good, right?
Wow, that's so true. I just thought about that. Just like, to the point, same thing that you said about like, Sydney trying to possibly throw down. Like Kenny needs to make a statement.
He needs to make a statement. So yeah, this was a good one for Kenny, for Oblique, for all these guys. Even shout out to Zarno Hughes. He ran 9.87 as well.
It's a really good showing for him because he hasn't been as sharp, lately.
Yeah. So this was a good 100-meter race overall.
Let's hope Mother Nature cooperates tomorrow with the wind. All right, Eric, probably your favorite race of the day, the men's short distance 800 meters, because this one had it all from Marco Arop doing what he's has kind of vowed to do. He's like, I'm going to make everyone hurt in this 800. I'm going to try and win all of the 800s at Grand Slam. And he did that. No one contested him. They gave him the front. He took it. Yard Nagu sticks his nose in it as well. Major kudos to that because he comes away with a 144 personal best, gets a lot of points. But the story is Josh Kerr. When we crunched the numbers, I was playing with ChatGPT on my way to the stadium, and I was like putting in if Hangura and Arop like finish these scenarios, like what does Josh's minimum finish need to be? And like I think all of the modules told me like 6 would be a safe spot for him. And so as you watch that final lap, like yes, okay, now Marco Arop is the one who's going to win this race. What is left for Josh to do? And honestly, it was so much closer than we thought. Like, he ends up finishing 5th, gets the points, had the fastest close of Yared, Cole, and him, which is important when we kind of think big picture as to what this means, for the 1500 later on. But Josh timed that kick perfectly, gets a personal best as well, 145. What was it?
Is that that's a PR?
01.
Yeah.
Big PR for him. And so, like, things are coming together for Josh at the right time, becomes a slam champion. And I think as a kind of like I've been banging this drum because it's just a cool storyline. He's the first male athlete to sign with this league. And today is what he probably was envisioning when he put that pen to paper.
This was, fantastic race. It's like shows why the slam concept is so intriguing, right? Every point matters. It's like you cannot, you might not win this race, but you have to hang in there because, like Josh Kerr today, you're going to win the slam. So cool to watch after an athlete like Josh have a disappointing showing in Kingston to come back here.
He was 7th in Kingston.
7th in Kingston, win the entire thing. Thank God he didn't cash out his parlay. He was talking about after winning that, winning the 15. He's like, maybe I should just call it now. Really, really awesome to watch. Marco, and we talked with Marco after his race. Like, once he figures out the 15 and gets more comfortable in that,
he's getting closer.
He's getting closer and closer. He's clearly getting more confident to hit the lead with 300 to go in the 15. Shows a lot of confidence against literally the entire podium in Paris in the 1500. I thought he's just so strong in that 8 that, I mean, if he runs every single race, because this was, he ran 143.6, looking pretty much chill, in control the entire time. After yesterday, like after a hard 1500 where, he finished a bit further down the pack than he would have liked. I mean, it's I'm really excited to see how he does in these next slams. But yeah, kudos to Josh Kerr, came out, got it done. And also Yared, like 144, like for a guy that, me also, like I thought of the 15 guys, Yared, it would, like, I would think it went like Cole or like Josh Cole, like kind of either one of those guys for better 15, better wheels, and then Yared. But I mean, man, like what a showing out of him in the 8 today. Very cool to see.
Cole Hawker, also PB.
For him too, yeah.
145.13.
I mean, these guys leave this slam happy. It's like, all right, we didn't get embarrassed in the 1500, and now it's like we're showing that we're learning the 800 as well, which is important come later on in the season. I don't think, like, for Cole, like, while people may be looking, it's like, man, he just keeps getting beat. Like, I'm not concerned whatsoever with Cole Hawker. Like,
no.
Ben Thomas is a magician, and, like, this is all part of the plan. And Yared is also kind of showcasing a little bit of speed right now. Like, American 1500 guys are still in a good place, all things considered.
I mean, the American, oh my God, the American 1500s, like, you couldn't ask there. It's in the best place ever.
Yeah.
I mean, no, like, you're losing out to the best athletes in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Let's take a look at it, like, who was ahead of, like, our top Americans today. So
I mean, you're literally only missing Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and this is a, Olympic. These are Olympic final type of field. So
and Hobbs Kessler.
So it's just, I mean, and he ran 145 PR. When you're as competitive as these guys, like, you're going to see these guys pass through the mix zone pretty pissed off, right? Like, no one wants, when you're as good and successful and hungry as these guys, finishing back in the pack is never what you want, and you're never going to be excited. I'm sure if someone was like, oh, nice job, like, you PB'd, he'd be like, dude, I don't give a shit. Like, I came in 7th in that race or however he finished. He's just, he's a winner, and he's a gold medalist in Paris. And that's you win a gold, and now what comes along with that is people critiquing you. But that's a good position to be in. Like, he's lucky to be in that position. I know, like, there are definitely going to be times where there's a lot of people that are going to be talking, but that doesn't matter. It's all, you're the man in the arena. everybody's talking is just talking shit. But I'm not worried about it at all, and I'm sure that he's in a spot that he'd like to be in.
We sound just like proud Americans. We're not worried. We're not worried. Shout out Kethabogile Hangura. Great showing overall to finish 4th in the 1500 and then come back and finish 2nd and take it to Marco Arop. From Botswana, like the guy's a rising star, so just like let's remember his.
So he finished 3rd in this. Did he finish 3rd?
Finished 2nd.
He was.
Oh, I'm sorry, he was 3rd. But I feel like he
was tied. He was tied.
He finished. He got the 3rd place overall.
3rd overall. Okay.
3rd overall in the
Yeah.
standings. So he was tied with Yared and wins the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if he would have won this race, he would have won the slam.
Yes.
Right.
Overall.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, that was important.
And that 8 was, I mean,
close.
it was pretty close. When we watched it with Marco, he was like, he's like, I didn't know it was that close.
I mean, with 200 meters to go, he had a gap on the field.
Yeah.
Like he thought he was clear, riding high. Oh, I got this in the bag. And watching it back with him, he really didn't know it was that close.
Yeah.
Well, now that I'm looking at it, this might be the first tiebreaker that we had that went all the way down to time because Hangura and Nagus finished with 13 points, right?
They were both with 13, but
and then
Hangura
gets it on the time because even though his 1500 was slower, I think he had just over a second on Yared Nagus, so the margin was very, very slim, and that's money. All right, final event of the day also brought quite a bit.
Yeah, this was another
fireworks because it was one where we had to watch just sort of like how high Melissa Jefferson-Wooden was going to finish.
Yeah.
Gabby Thomas with not the best showing, finishing 4th in the 100.
Mm-hmm.
Knew that she was going to have, like, all that she could do would be win your event, dominate.
Yep.
And then from there, see where the cards land behind her. And so Gabby Thomas does her thing, wins in 21.95. Not wind dated, but kind of a very good
for this time of year. Yeah.
Tamari Davis was someone who was up there and challenging her, which was maybe catching Gabby Thomas by surprise a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was Melissa Jefferson who Gabby needed to finish, 4th or lower.
Worse, yep.
And Melissa Jefferson her form was falling apart at the very end.
Yeah.
But she held it together and is now $200,000 richer because of Grand Slam track,
which is crazy. And Gabby actually in the mix zone she felt somebody on her outside, and she was like, "Please don't let that be Melissa," because she knew, just like she in Kingston, she knew what she had to do to win, and turned out to be Melissa, and Melissa got the win here. And I feel like Melissa is really. I want to say coming into her own, but she's been here where she's just dominating and dominating. Yes, she didn't get the win here, but overall, she's like really coming out as the presence, the woman in the sprint, the short sprints right now. And for her to get the 100-meter win, the 200-meter 3rd place, personal best for her, also personal best for Tamari Davis. Like this is Melissa gaining momentum as the season goes on.
Yeah, and like I watched kind of like the athletes right after the finish line. Like Gabby Thomas just won that race, ran a really good time, but you could tell like as she's watching the scoreboard, like she was not all that thrilled by the outcome of the final slam standings, and like. That is great, honestly, I think, because like if she's pissed and she's disappointed, that's awesome because it just goes to show just like how much and how badly these athletes want it. Like, yeah, you won the 200, but overall, like this is your group.
Exactly.
You want to own the group.
Exactly.
And she didn't here today, so she's got 2 more opportunities to do so. But when they asked her, I guess like on the broadcast, like, and I don't know if she differed on the mix zone.
In the mix zone that she's going to alternate.
Yeah.
She didn't say which ones, but she's going to alternate in Philly and LA in the long sprints and short sprints.
Here's the ideal scenario in my head as to like the best matchups, right? For the story. Gabby Thomas versus Melissa Jefferson-Wooden once again in Philly, right? Like Gabby, get the group, right? Now, when Gabby wants to move up to the long sprints again, you do it in LA so that it sets up Gabby versus Sydney versus Paulino versus Nasser.
Okay, that would be good. That puts Gabby in.
That also minimizes the challenger spot, which is crazy.
It does. That puts Gabby in a very tough position because now she's coming off this. Yeah, she's fired up for Philly, but the group is going to be very competitive still, the short sprints group. And then going into LA, that group is still going to be. We just saw Paulino and Nasser like toe to toe in that 400. Like Gabby has to face that if she's doing long sprints. I think though it creates a good story, but we'll see what she actually decides to do. I don't know.
That's the thing about these racers. It's like when someone comes into your group and beats you, like, it's not going to sit well, and like you're just going to be like, okay, I guess I got to wait a couple more weeks. I'm back to training. Like this is another kind of like added benefit of things. It's just like the incentive of like now it's going to stick in your head over the next couple of weeks.
And this is very entertaining, right? Like we're seeing a lot of personalities. We're seeing other sides of the athletes, but at the end of the day, at the core of every person on this track is a fierce competitor. All they truly care about is winning. Money's nice, money's fun, you know, showing all of your whole being is fun. They want to win. At the end of the day, that's all that matters to them. And I love this element of we're seeing competition in new lights. We're seeing different people line up against each other. But at the end of the day, they want to line up and they want to win. And I can't wait to see that carrot dangling. You know, I've got another month to just marinate over this, to think about my mistakes and to correct them for next time. And I think we're going to see, by the time we get to LA, we're going to see some crazy races. We're going to see some fast times, some incredible performances, and I think those matchups will just be so compelling.
Eric, you never want anyone pissing in your pot.
I don't. I don't. But and another thing about like these athletes are they're getting. We talked about like this is going to benefit them come championship race season because it's like tactical racing, but it's just also you're getting so familiar with your competition that it's like, okay, yes, it's tactical racing, but it's just like I've now seen you so many times throughout this season. They're all going to know how each other stacks up races. They've seen how they've improved throughout the season multiple times in one weekend. It's very compelling. And yeah, like Aisha just said, each slam, they're just going to get fitter and fitter. Faster, more tactically sound. It's I can't wait for LA.
I think like it's so interesting where before Grand Slam track started, people were worrying. It's like, oh, it's in April and May. It's going to be early. Like these Olympic champions, they're not going to want to like really push it. But we're seeing Josh Kerr like really go hard for that win. We're seeing Gabby Thomas, Melissa Jefferson. Like everyone is proving that like, yo, I want to win. I want this money. I don't care what time of the year it is. I want to make sure I'm showing up.
And you see like Josh come through the line like. So like, you would have thought he just won a major championship. It's like this matters. The race you're in matters, and like this is like you're all building momentum, confidence stacks on top of each other, and they want it.
Anderson, can you give your mic to Mac for a second? He's been like jumping over there because he wants to chime in on something. He's so giddy right now.
No, I just want to say it's really cool and it's brand new to see these level of athletes progress so publicly in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And so like each slam, we're seeing each silo of runners improve in a way that we've never seen before because they're usually so segregated and no one is racing each other as frequently as they are here. So we're seeing Josh go from Kingston to Miami in a way that we've never necessarily seen before because he would have never raced in that shape that he was in Kingston, but he's a professional and he showed up to race.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that progression, and we're seeing how every other athlete in every other one of these silos is progressing and how that changes the dynamic of each of the races and each of the slams. And I think that that's really special, and it's really magnified by having to watch them race twice every single weekend. It's really cool.
And there's a guarantee that it's going to happen again, like in 4 weeks or whatever it is from here. So that was day 2 of Grand Slam track here in Miami. Be sure to follow along on Instagram. We've got tons of photos, interviews, lots of interviews from the Mix Zone, from Paul and Anderson, up on the CITIUS Mag YouTube channel tomorrow morning. Eric and Aisha will be doing Good Morning Track and Field. I'll be on the TV broadcast again tomorrow for one more day, and so things are going great out here. We're all getting nice tans. Vibes are high, Eric.
Vibes are high. Feel good. I feel good.
And we love when you feel good.
I love slamming.
Slamming.
Love slamming.
Love slamming.
Have a good night, everybody.
Oh,